Oh no, pre-game.
Pre-gaming it. Let's see. I gotta get open the. I've gotta get open the thingamadoodle.
You're a little blurry today, my friend.
Yeah, well, you are too. Am I?
Oh, that it could be me. It so could be my.
It might be because I'm enhanced.
Ah.
Here I am in the original. Watch. Airbrushed,
Okay.
and then, hold on. Original. See all the wrinkles on my skin? Original. See my pores?
Yep.
Enhanced.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even do it.
I
So
don't know.
now I'm blurry. Oh.
Oh my.
I'll just do original. Here, let me put it on original. There you go. All right.
You're a little black and white.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Dan. Dan, I have a fantastic beer.
Okay, hold on. I'm not even ready yet. I haven't even done the thing. Original.
Terrific beer. I'm so excited.
I'm playing around.
Okay.
I came to get this link, and I got it. Okay, all right, I got it. Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's SEO and IPA. It is the fun weekly hangout about entrepreneurship, inbound marketing, SEO, and more for cool people of all shapes, stripes, and colors. As always, I am Daniel Barrett here from Two Friendly Nerds. That's TWO, friendlynerds.com, the world's friendliest web company. And with me, as always, is the brains behind the operation, officially the only reason anybody ever watches this show. She's starting a new rap group called Run PPC. It is Patti D'Alessio from Reinvent Interactive. That is reinventinteractive.com. Patti, how are you, my wonderful friend?
I am terrific, my wonderful friend. I like that. Run PPC.
You like that one? You like what I did there?
Yeah. Kudos.
There's a rap group called Run DMC.
Right. Exactly.
I changed some of the letters to be a marketing reference.
I did. I got that entirely.
Rap kind of music that children listen to. Okay, well, Patti, you said you had a wonderful beer.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry.
Oh, bullshit. Prove it. Let me go get a beer while you talk about you.
Oh, well, you're not going to hear this. It's.
I'm in the room.
Are you in the room? Okay. So
I'm in the middle of it.
it's by Evil Genius Beer Company. Okay, can you see that? Evil Genius. I don't think I've ever heard these guys before or had any of their beer, so I'm going to have to look them up, but kudos to these guys. Turtle Power Grapefruit Pale Ale.
I'll send you an email.
I said grapefruit, Dan.
Sorry, I missed it.
Anyway, I had this. I picked up a 6 of this because it just looked so promising. And again, with the fruit in the beer, I used to think I had an issue with the way fruit was put in beer. This is so good. This is so good, my friend. Find it.
What is it? I missed the whole thing.
Evil Genius Grapefruit Pale Ale. Kid you not. Kid you not. Terrific. Look at it. It's gorgeous.
Wow, that's pretty.
Right?
It's cool. It's called Turtle Power. You know, I was, as a child and as a early teen, obsessed with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
To the point where I was in like 6th grade, and my best friend was like a kid who was like in 2nd grade. Because we would talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and would play Turtles and oh God, I hope this doesn't explode all over me. That's what she said.
Oh God.
SEO, everybody. Okay.
Did you have that app when it came out, by the way?
What?
The That's What She Said app?
I don't need an app, Patti. I have life in my house. Okay.
What do you got? Because I win. It doesn't matter what you have, because I win. I'm so in love with this beer.
All right. This week I have the Gray Lady from Cisco Brewers of Nantucket. I like their labels very much in general, and I've had a couple of their beers that I really like. Um,
I've never had that beer.
have you ever had
No.
stuff?
No. And you're getting so good at this, my friend. It's taken you a little while, but you are like rocking it.
I'll catch up sooner or later. Give me a couple years to warm up.
Right?
Yeah, so it's beer brewed with spices and natural flavors. I don't know much of anything about it. It says Belgian-style wit with a complex nose.
Okay, so it's a wheat beer. Very good. Stick your nose in it.
My nose is very complex.
You need to pour that beer, hon.
Drink it like this?
No, don't.
I don't have a thing to pour it into other than my mouth, so let's go.
Okay. What you got?
It's what are the spices, I wonder? There's like first of all, it's very crisp, very refreshing. There's like kind of a lingering sort of citrusy, I almost want to say like borders on slightly sour.
Yeah.
But I like it. You know how like some wheat beers are like very, like if you drink a Blue Moon or something, it's very like.
Yeah.
This is like very light.
Okay.
Very crisp. You don't get any of that weird like weedy aftertaste. It's very good. They're like very good. They have a pumpkin beer that I actually really like. Their seasonal is quite cute. It's got a cute little pumpkin guy on it, and he's like. And it's very good. So yeah, nice job, Cisco Brewers, Gray Lady, very good. If you like wheat beers, I would definitely pick it up.
Let me see the label one more time. Now it's sounding familiar to me.
It's got this like mermaid with the bottle.
No, I don't know that.
So, all their labels kind of look like this, like old school, like kind of like wood etched drawings, which is like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good.
I love it. Cheers. Cheers.
All right, cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Yep.
So, now that I'm drunk, let's talk about SEO.
Yeah.
So this week was my week to bring up a topic, and I am continuously fascinated by SEO myths. And I'm fascinated by SEO myths because whenever I do any research into SEO myths, I find that SEO myths are very similar to things I believe. So it's always kind of like one of these things where it's like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know Google was originally founded in Afghanistan. Weird. And then I'll just believe that for the next 10 years.
Right.
I've told this story, but I don't think I've told it on air before, but I'll tell the story now.
Okay.
My dad, when I was learning to drive, or it was before I was learning to drive, so I was like 14, but I'm getting close. And I was kind of an anxious kid, so I would like get anxious about random things. And I was driving in the car with my dad, and the gas was like a little less than quarter of a tank, right? So the light comes on, right? Okay. And I was just like getting anxious because I was like, oh, we're going to run out of gas, we're going to run out of gas. Or it was like right on E, you know what I mean? And I was like, we're going to run out of gas. And my dad was like, don't worry about it. When it gets all the way down to empty, the secondary tank kicks in and fills it back up.
Yeah?
The backup tank.
Okay.
Like, that makes total sense.
That's the thing.
I feel so dumb. Like 15, 20 years go by until I'm pumping gas one day and I suddenly realize
there's no such thing.
I don't pay for 2 tanks of gas. And then my secondary tank's been filled with like old gas for like the last 5 years. No, there's no such thing as a secondary tank of gas. It blew my mind. So you can just believe things that aren't true. So one of the enduring myths of SEO is the 200 ranking factors of Google. This is like the fountain of youth of SEO. And it's essentially this idea that Google has 200 different factors that they look at to rank any given site, and that there's somehow we know these, and that you can list them, and that there's a list of 100. And you go down the list, and you're like, I'm on late. Like sooner or later, like I will be on the Google homepage. You won't even have to search for me. I'll be so well ranked, right? I'll just be, you'll get my site instead of Google when you type google.com. So there's a great article published by Moz, which I believe, I'm sure the company, I'm not sure. Anyway, so, and they have this great animated GIF of Picard.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great. But great article kind of debunking this idea. And really kind of putting forward the idea that, first of all, it's more complicated than the list makes it seem. And then second of all, we don't really know what would be on the list, even if there is a list.
Right.
And a lot of the things that people think are ranking factors or things that they really need to be careful of looking at are things that are more correlative than causative, meaning that people tend to have them and rank well, but it doesn't mean that one is connected to the other. There's also a lot of things in here about sort of common misconceptions about what ranks a site, what a ranking factor even is. So it's a really interesting study, or not really a study, but a really interesting kind of approach to this idea that, and I think it kind of gets to a deeper kind of psychological issue where, as SEOs, as someone who is, it's our job to rank a site.
Yeah.
We want there to be a list so you know what to do. It's really frustrating for someone to just say, well, just be really great, man. Be the tops of the tops, and you'll rank really well. And it's very vague, and we all kind of want the answers. Really, is what I took away from it. But
yeah. Well, wait, Dan, I have to point out, you and I made this mistake just a few weeks ago. I think it was a few weeks ago. I don't know when it was, but we did our show on the 200 factors.
We didn't do a show on 200 ranking factors.
Yes, we did. We're like, here's the, well, was it not 200? Then it was like, here are the factors.
It was like the
hidden
ranking list or whatever.
Yeah, but it was similar, I thought. No?
Similar in that it's a list. It was a list of stuff that seems to be pretty. It was like all. It was like from leaked sources in Google, right? And I think we prefaced it with enough.
Yeah.
Hand ranking.
Like we added to the rumor. Yeah. So this article is, hey, listen, Google has said there's about 200, but be careful when people actually think they know what all 200 are, and then they're like making up stuff just to get to the magic 200 number. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think, it's almost like what Google's trying to say is, listen, we have a really complex algorithm. You can't game the system. Stop being assholes. Like that's kind of.
But it's my job to be an asshole. I get paid to do it.
Right. And right. That. Well, listen.
And I'm good at it. I'm great at it.
So. Yeah, so I get it. I get the 200, but there isn't actually 200. We don't know. We don't have insight into that algorithm. If we did, we'd get paid a lot more.
Right, and so some of the interesting things. So he points out on this article, for example, a very common one, which I am totally admit to believing in, is keyword density.
Yeah.
The idea that a certain amount of usage of keywords on a page will help you rank for that. And he points out that there are pages ranking right now for certain keywords that don't have that keyword anywhere on that page. Right? So here's the thing. My bet would be that those pages that are ranking, when they don't have the keyword on them at all, happen to be on very high-ranking domains.
Yep.
Or from brands that very obviously deal with certain things or whatever. So is it really true? It's not necessarily saying it doesn't matter. You shouldn't even try to use keywords anymore. And in fact, I, much like the band Sigur Rós, write all my blog posts in a made-up language that I created specifically for blogging. And it's really great. Or you could say, or you say like, well, it probably matters. Probably matters. They probably look at that, right? But it's not everything. So some people kind of go out and they say, like, okay, I used the word shoes 5 times.
Right.
Like, hello, Google.
Or you know what, Dan? We've seen evidence, and we've talked about articles that have proved this, that even if you used to rank for a particular term or key phrase, even though you've kind of like changed that page, there's still a history there, and you may still be shown for it even though the words don't live on the page anymore. You know, because you still could be getting action on those keywords, and you could still show proof that, you know, you're a valid answer to that question, you know? Which is kind of how I think about search, right?
Yeah. So I think there's things that you do when you have nothing to start with, right? And then there's things that you do that are kind of like, that are, you know, there's things that happen when you're already ranked particularly well, and you're already very valuable, you're already getting a lot of views.
Yep.
You know, so I think it also kind of goes to the point where, like, maybe it's a little harder. People worry so much about losing rankings, and in fact I do as well all the time, worry about, you know, maintaining that. Maybe I shouldn't worry about it as much.
Yep.
But, you know, we get more and more into this idea then of like, well, okay, you just trust the big G, do what they got to do, right? Mm-hmm. But in a lot of ways, that's a very risky proposition, especially if any amount of business is coming to you from Google, right? So I think the appeal of the list, the kind of 200 ranking factor list, the appeal is that it's like step by step. You just go down the list and you check the things off.
Right.
And if you did that, I'm pretty sure you would rank pretty well. But it's like, you got to understand that it's not the actual thing that you did, it's the fact that you're working on it, kind of period, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, almost like, you know, I go to the gym and I do 10 different sets of workouts, and my biceps get big, and I'm like, oh, it was workout number 3. You know, that was the one that did it. But like, reality, it's because I'm just genetically primed to be ripped all the time. I mean, I am like...
Show us, gun show, do it.
It looks like, under this shirt, it looks like a cobblestone street. You know what I mean? It's just like...
Come on, give us a gun show.
Oh.
Yeah, oh, there we go, okay.
Are these even legal in Connecticut? I don't know. I should probably know that. So, thanks, Obama. So, you know, it's so interesting to me because there's so much misinformation out there about SEO. So, for example, and he points out things too. There might just kind of be a little bonkers that people put on these lists to make sure that they get to the 200 number, right? So he points out that one of the ranking factors on this list is like, he puts like YouTube, and he's like, YouTube is ranked by Google,
right?
Like really well.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, okay, like, first of all, it doesn't even make any sense because we're talking about ranking your website. That doesn't help me. And if I put it on YouTube, you know, whatever. So, but it's like, that's not really a ranking factor. That's just Google saying, like, we own YouTube.
Yeah.
There's kind of like a difference.
Yeah.
And I think if you really knew it, here's the trick, too, is like if you really knew how to game the algorithm, they'd change the algorithm, right?
Right.
So it's a really great article, though, for kind of going into some of the tech behind indexing and ranking, the differences between the two. I thought it was a pretty cool piece. I don't know, like, what's something, Patti, that you do you have any like SEO? Do you have any like SEO?
Like a checklist.
Like superstitions.
Oh. Well, you know, it's interesting. I think that we've talked. I know that we've talked about this before on air. Specifically because I'm doing a talk on this in a few weeks, which is going to be really interesting, which is how social platforms affect SEO.
Okay.
Right? And, you know, so the issue is, you know, does it help my website's SEO if I've got all these social shares, social buttons on my website, if I'm constantly posting and blogging and whatever? And I think they mentioned in here, I saw Facebook in here somewhere. What does he say? So number 9, Facebook's likes, Facebook shares. So it says here that it cannot be a ranking factor, period. Right?
Social shares.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
in this Facebook in particular.
Yeah, that was always my understanding.
is that, yeah. So it used to, I've seen information in the past where it was sort of, like if you've got a pie chart, it was like 2020, 2020, 20, and it was, social shares was one of that 20% that, re- uh, SERP and related to, how you were being shown. But now it's saying, Google has admitted, Matt Cutts has said that there's not that specific relationship, that there isn't, an exact correlation, but it's more of sort of an outcome that if you put more information out there, more blood, there's the opportunity for you to kind of build links organically, and then that, as sort of a side factor, can kind of how you're shown. So, a lot of that stuff around social I've been diving into quite a bit as I'm kind of preparing to, have a talk about it. So, that's one that's funny for me, that I can't quite tell, what's causal and not. What do you think?
And I can't tell what's causal in my own life. Right? I mean, it's like, this is always the part about SEO that frustrates me.
Yeah, well, there's no rule book to life. There's no blueprint here for us to follow.
There's a rule book to life, Patti, and it's the Book of Mormon. Okay.
Yeah, and it's complicated.
Yeah, and I realize that this is just a reality of the industry. I think part of the problem is that we always drift towards certainty. Like if I am consulting with someone and they ask me a question, what are they going to do? I'm going to tell them what I understand to be the best practices, right?
That's right.
The fact of the matter is, you never 100% really know if what you're saying is true.
That's right.
You only have correlative experiences, right? You only ever say, like, I did this and this happened. But you can never really draw the line directly and say this caused this. And so,
but we all need a best practices though for all of this. Like we need to know, how do we do this? What are the best usability practices?
I think the challenge is to frame it that way and say, look, you're a wonderful person.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me. To work with people that we work with and say, like, look, these are what are currently understood to be best practices. And I have seen in the past these produce results for other people, right? There's always got to be that disclaimer. So it's just because you blog, just because you get a bunch of followers, just because you have a 0.6% keyword density, not mean that you will necessarily achieve X rank or whatever. And I can't even really say with 100% accuracy that this isn't going to backfire on you. I mean, it's the other part of the industry is not even not knowing what works. Even if you know what works, it doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow.
Right.
So it's like I always say, like, SEO increasingly now is not overwhelmingly technical, although there is a big technical component. But I'm like, really, as an SEO, is my job essentially to just professionally read blogs and stuff and watch hangouts like this and just kind of know stuff that's going on, so when people come to ask me about it, I can be like, well, I don't know. Like, what are those things? Remember in the days of the web where you would have like a circle of websites? What are those called? You know what I'm talking about? Where it'd be like hit next to go to the next website in this like website chain.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? Where they're like link circles or something? What were those?
Talking like Alta Vista. Like
rings, right? They were like, oh, you're the baseball ring. And you would like hit it, and you'd go to like the next website, right? Because there's no search.
Right.
So you're really screwed. So like if Rand Fishkin or whoever came on stage tomorrow and was like, website rings are coming back, big time.
Yeah.
You just have to be awake on that day and watching that thing. You know what I mean? So is that my full-time job, really, when we come down to it?
Well, you know what? We've talked about this before. We've talked about this
You're
before.
like,
I don't know. No, we've talked about this before. I carve out a certain amount of time on my Friday mornings that happen to correlate with, speaking of correlation, with Rand Fishkin's Whiteboard Friday. I've taken that as sort of my lead to read up on, search, follow all my, Google alerts for the week on SEO, just to kind of, filter through that and make sure I'm not missing the next big rule, right? So that is our job, kind of is our job to know what's going on, to be able to advise, right?
I had a dream last night. This is true.
I hate you.
No, this is true. I had a dream last night that what you could smell websites.
Is that where the cinnamon came from?
It was, and the whole dream was about something else. But I opened up my phone. I was using a website, and some smell came out, and I was like, oh, that's right. You can smell websites now.
Yeah.
Or there's poop on my phone. Whatever. It was a dream. I can't go back and find out. Yeah, I think we've well established that I have existential crises about what we do a fair amount. It's part of the reason that I like online advertising so much is because it's much more cut and dried.
Yes.
It's much more like.
I'm doing that as well. I'm doing a bunch of kind of paid, search paid. But everybody, I don't think our job will ever go away. SEO is not dead. There may not be a blueprint. That's kind of the rule of the game. What is it? The rule of Fight Club is whatever.
Nothing in the face. Nothing in the face. First rule of Fight Club, nothing in the face. Second rule of Fight Club, nothing in the face.
Never talk about Fight Club. No, but listen, it's funny. I actually watched that the other night. But no, so there are no rules. You can't do anything sleazy. They really want to keep everything.
Everything is permitted. Nothing is forbidden. We live in a hedonistic black magic society where it's like that scene in when Eyes Wide Shut all the time,
right?
But with more beards. Do what thou wilt, people. That's what Patti says to you. There are no rules.
Can we provide something valuable in this talk?
My own will shall be the whole of the law. I know my Satanism.
Please.
I thought this was a very valuable conversation.
Well, it's okay. So what did we conclude on? We concluded that
density is not a ranking factor, and I think in general, the whole point of mentioning this, or at least for me for bringing it up, was to make sure. I think we all need an inoculation every once in a while.
Yeah.
Against taking what we assume works.
Yes.
Taking best practices and believing it is the rules.
Right.
Because, like you said, there are no real rules that everyone knows that we can all kind of follow.
Actually, you know what, Dan? The truth is there are rules. We just don't know what they are. There is an algorithm.
We are like witch doctors trying to make it rain.
But listen.
Something makes it rain. It's just not like Mujambo, the rain god, or whatever we think it is. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm waving the thing, and sometimes it rains, and I'm like, pay me $10,000.
Right. No. That's
when it doesn't rain, I'm like, you messed it up.
Right. It's you. No, but, the truth is, we're all at the mercy of Google. There are rules. We have no insight into them. And then we are forced to believe that we can't figure this stuff out, that we're not smart enough. We have to assume everything's, coincidental.
So you heard it here from Patti D'Alessio. We're not smart enough to figure it all out, and we're all at the mercy of Google. Pretty soon, self-driving cars will be exactly like that movie Death Race 5000 or whatever it is, where cars kill people. It'll be like that, and we'll be scampering from garbage can to garbage can. We're rummaging for food, and then suddenly like headlights covering the thing. We're like, no, running, and it's like me, and then thump.
So Dan, I deeply enjoy our time together. I really do.
I'm kind of being a dick this whole call.
I just want to be. I'd like to provide some value and insight.
I thought that I know, but in all seriousness, no. I think that's an important thing to take away from. I learned that keyword density is not a ranking factor, and it goes to show that you shouldn't rest on your laurels too much or believe too much what you're reading on the internet, quite frankly, including this article.
Yeah.
So where does that leave us?
I don't know.
If you enjoyed this episode or you came in halfway and you want to check the rest out, you can check all of our hangouts at twofriendlynerds.com/hangout. That's twofriendlynerds.com/hangout, or go on the YouTube, which we know is a ranking factor, and search for SEO and IPA. You'll find all our past episodes, as well as, I don't know, maybe a video of me playing guitar or Patti on her boat. I don't even know. What's happening? Someone's talking to you? Yeah.
Listen, I apologize for giggling through this whole thing. It's
No, it was good. This was a good call. I enjoyed it. I have to run. I got another call right away. Thank you everybody so much for watching. As always, we really appreciate it. Patti, you're the best.
Man, cheers. Oh,
it was good. Yeah, cheers.
Optimize responsibly.
Optimize responsibly, everyone.
Cheers, cheers. And are we on next week? I've got a schedule. I'll let you know. I might be able to swing it.
Okay. I'll still be here, I think.
Okay.
All right. So I'll be here even if Pat's not here, and you'll just get my. I'll like be chain smoking, and I'll just. It'll be like confessional. I can't feel anything. Nah, anyway. Okay. Love you, everybody. Love you deeply. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.